So my name is Bram, I'm from Amsterdam, so maybe my English will fall a little bit short tonight, and it also explains my exotic name. So together with Brian, I founded a company called 3D Hubs about a year ago, and what we do is we connect 3D printer owners with the people who want to print. So Brian and I are actually already working in 3D printing for 5 years. We started a company called Freedom of Creation, which was the first company in the world to use 3D printing to create end consumer products. So they started in the year 2000 in a time that this technology was really used for prototyping for the industry. So that was very revolutionary back then. And as you can see by these light shade designs, this technology gives you a lot of design freedom. So these are headphones designed by Brian, and what they do is they display your favorite music artists in 3D. So this product really shows the personalization opportunities that 3D printing can offer. So these ring icons are also designed by Brian, and the cool part here is that when we want to launch new icons, the only thing with 3D printing we needed to do is create the 3D printable computer design, which was often just a matter of a few hours work. This is actually the most popular 3D printed consumer product. It's an iPhone case, and this particular design is sold in many Apple stores around the world. So many people don't know that they're actually often using 3D printed products. So a few years ago, Freedom of Creation got acquired by 3D Systems. So we became employees there, and we got involved in the development of the Cubify platform and the Cube 3D printer around the time that 3D Systems really wanted to enter the consumer printing market. And the reason why Brian and I decided to start in 3D printing, work in the industry 5 years ago, is because we believe in a manufacturing model where products can be made local, on demand, and personalized. Instead of what we currently see, which is the dominant mass manufacturing model, where we make millions of identical products and ship all that large stock around the world, often made in China. But actually, if you look at the 3D printing market today, the majority of 3D printed parts is actually long distance shipped. So a year ago, we decided to quit our jobs in order to change this. And the opportunity that we saw is that there's already 150,000 3D printers out there, which on average are about 95% of the time idle. So we set out to connect all these idle 3D printers to one platform called 3D Hubs, and allowing anyone to have something 3D printed locally. And this video will show how that works. We're missing the sound, unfortunately. But yeah, so as you saw, maybe at some point we will become a dating site, but for now we'll stay a 3D printing platform. So actually one of the things when we started the company is, we felt that people would want to have something 3D printed locally because it's much faster if you make it long distance. But what already soon we discovered is actually just as important is that people really want to meet 3D printer experts, passionate people offline as well. And that's something that we were able to enable. So, this is a phase of the technology where, 3D printing still needs quite some knowledge, has some, particular things you need to know. And this is the way to make, to create that sharing of knowledge possible. So already a few months after we started organizing the first events where people could connect offline, and that kind of got out of hand because the first event was already attended by over 100 people who all asked, like, when are you coming back and organize the next event? So we're an online company, but we thought, how can we take this opportunity and find a scalable way of setting this up? So what we did is in 50 cities around the world, we appointed a 3D Hubs mayor who is voluntarily, because of his passion for 3D printing, is organizing these events. And now twice per week, somewhere around the world, there's a 3D Hubs event. So this was actually last Sunday in Brooklyn, one of our 3D printing events, where we tried to get inspiring speakers. Yeah, so, well, Brian and I are the founders of 3D Hubs, so the second half he should present.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, so we've been creating local 3D printing communities around the world. As you can see, we have now about 3,300 3D printers connected in over 80 different countries. And people often ask us, how did we grow this quickly? Because we're an Amsterdam-based company, so we're not that international. So one of the first things we did was kind of a viral mechanism where people had to unlock their city. So it was basically a rally to get at least 20 printers listed in a city before it opened. So that gave us a lot of growth in the beginning. But next to that, of course, there's a pretty disruptive trend going on in 3D printing. 3D printing itself is already a 30-year-old technology, but since the last roughly 5 years, desktop 3D printing has been emerging, has been picking up speed, and now the majority of printers sold are desktop 3D printers. So all these desktop printers that are entering the market are potentially added to our platform. And actually the quality of these desktop 3D printers is getting better and better. So there's basically machines like the Form 1 that are sold for $3,000 are roughly the same quality as the industrial machines that have been sold for a long time already. Since I'm a designer, I want to show you a little bit what people are making on our platform. So this breakdown shows that still a lot of the prints are prototypes, stuff designers make, stuff architects make, people who are already familiar with CAD, but we also see a lot of end products such as fashion, jewelry, gadgets, household items even. And what we believe is that 3D printing will have a big impact on product design. So what basically happened with internet and music, basically music went digital, is going to happen with product design and manufacturing as well. So we believe manufacturing will become digital, and this will have the long tail effect. So in probably 5 to 10 years, we'll see that we'll be making a few products of millions of designs instead of millions of the same product. So I want to show you a few examples. This is actually my favorite. It's the first thing that was ever printed on our platform. And what's pretty cool here is that the guy on the right is actually the printer owner, and the guy on the left is the customer. So he was looking for a GoPro case, sports camera, and he found a 3D file. So he was just Googling, found a 3D file. He was like, I don't have a printer. What am I going to do with a 3D file? Then he came to 3D Hubs, uploaded the file, and had it printed, basically around the corner in 2 days. So let's compare that for a minute to traditional manufacturing. Of course, he could have ordered the product online if he wanted it in any color but black. Customization is not available. It's about $40, shipping 1 week, 2 weeks. Customization, however, with 3D printing is free. You can print in any color, any material, and the costs are only like $15 to $20. So that's pretty disruptive in itself. So let's look at why people use our platform. Well, printer owners use it mainly to meet other makers. People who own a printer today are very passionate about it, and they love to meet other people in the space. Of course, people also like making money with their printer when it's not sitting idle. And we have a lot of powerful tools. So we take away payment hassle, we take away file checking. We do a lot of things to make the life of printer owners easy. And for consumers, well, they like 2-day delivery, especially if you're, for example, a product designer. If you can have your product in 2 days instead of in 2 weeks, that is a big advantage. Well, they have direct contact with... Still working? Yeah. And they have a lot of choice. So let's look at some of the other things that are being printed. So these are 3D selfies. So a lot of people are scanning themselves today. You have apps that allow you to scan yourself. So in a few years, people will probably be making 3D family portraits rather than just photos. Something else, product design. Well, we're in the quirky head office. People here know how important 3D printing is in the product design process. Actually, behind here are a few pretty awesome 3D printers. Jewelry, so a lot of fashion items, iPhone cases, jewelry pieces are all printed as end products. Household appliances, so this is pretty cool. Refurbished electronics with 3D printed parts make you a coffee grinder. So you can look up the guide how to build this, print the parts and make your own coffee grinder. Drones, well, who doesn't love drones? Everything but the electronics were 3D printed on this drone using our platform. Pretty cool. Then recently we did a project called Maker Tales, Maker Days, where we sent a design to 15 different cities, and within 48 hours people printed it and took a photo all across the planet. So basically you see people taking pictures in Rome, in Cape Town, London, New York, Mexico, Amsterdam, and this kind of shows you the power of a distributed network of 3,300 printers. You can go from, in 48 hours, from an idea, a CAD design, to production in all over the world. So that's basically the power of our platform. I wanted to ask you a question. How many of you have ever 3D printed something? Okay. Well, we're giving you $10 of print credit to test out our platform. If you got enthusiastic about 3D printing, just put in the Hardwired New York City promo code and test it out. You can use Thingiverse to find something to print. It's really easy. Or you can model something yourself with something like Tinkercad. Thanks.
Thanks very much. So we have a few minutes for questions. If you could, so just start with your name and company right before the question would be great.
Maybe unfair. Hi, my name is Kate. I work at Shapeways. I was curious how you price your models and what the markup is if you set X percentage, or if the maker gets to set like what their profit margin is.
Sorry. Yeah, so all the makers set their own startup price and the volume price. So it's basically 3,300 different prices on our platform. And we take a 15% cut of the total price. So, yeah.
Any more questions, or should we move on to next one? Okay, great. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.